Hello, everyone. Welcome. Uh, this is pretty exciting. This is the culmination, I guess, of 2 months' work of collecting data and analyzing to see what's the deal with that SkillGate that we heard about. Was it February? I think.
It was back in yeah, I think so. I have to double check the news.
That's right. I'm not alone today. Here with me is none other than the fabled Velocity Raptor,
Oh,
who was very kind to help me with actually analyzing the numbers, because we all know how much you are good with spreadsheets and, and numbers. So yeah, much appreciated for the collab.
well, we appreciate the data gathering as well. Takes two.
Yeah, more than two actually, because
yes,
it
more
was
than two.
yeah,
A lot more than two.
yeah. I wasn't the only contributor, but yeah. So how this thing is going to work is we are actually going to split this into two videos. This video will go over the data collection process. We'll go over the form, just explain what we collected, the reasoning behind it, that sort of things. I will also show you a few examples of inputs that we did, and then that is going to be on my channel, and the actual analysis is going to be on Velocity Raptor's channel, where he will explain what kind of conclusions we got into, or we got. So yeah. So before I begin, I just want to make sure that I do not forget, because there are two people who actually contributed to this form after I made it. The first person is, and forgive me if I am not saying the name correctly, I took it out of YouTube. It's a username, it's long. A person named Calibrating Gentropy 7212, who suggested to add the amount of hours it took to hit 20 main skill procs per day. And so that's one. Thank you for that. That has been added.
I will comment that specific data point. I don't know if I would have. We'll get to it more in the actual going over the data analysis, but I don't think I could have actually reached too many solid conclusions without that specific data point. So that's like a huge thing.
Yeah, no. It was expected. I don't. Generally speaking, I don't think that in the span of 2 months, with a very limited amount of input, I obviously we are very very limited with what we can do. Still, it's good to have the numbers just in case. So thank you for that. And the other contributor, in more than one way actually, both in entries. I think that's the other person who added the most entries besides myself. That's Baby Willow, which VR also knows, because that's one of your members on your Discord server.
Valued member of the community. Many valued members of the community.
Thank you, Baby Willow, for suggesting to add the question about how many times each team member was on the team during that day. Now, if by any chance I mixed that up and it was the other person who suggested adding the other thing, I apologize. Regardless, thank you both for the contributions and suggestions. And with that, let's just go over the document, the form. It's very simple. I basically started, and I stated that a couple of times. The minimum amount of information I require is the date and how many procs you had that day. That obviously, that is the bare minimum. To that, I also added 10 team members. The reasoning why 10 is because a person like me, who, if you know my playstyle, I'm a person who likes to set their team in the beginning of the week and have them unchanged. So for me, it would most likely be 5 entries, maybe more than that on the first day of a new week where I am making some changes. But I know that other people like to swap out Pokemon. If you are using mono ingredient specialists, stuff like that, which is very prominent in the community, then you like to swap in and out. So I figured, I think it's reasonable. Let me know if you think otherwise, but 10 should seem enough per day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't play with a super active play style that requires a lot of rotation either. So I assume most people probably aren't rotating more than 10 Pokemon. So I wouldn't be concerned.
Yeah, and to be fair, I don't think I've seen an entry that had more than 7 or 8 max.
I think the most I saw was 9 when I was crunching the numbers.
Oh, okay, 9. So
I think I
there
did
we
see
go.
one entry with 9.
Okay, but still not 10, so that's good. We're in the clear.
Oh wait, no, there were 2 entries with 10.
Oh,
I just double checked the data set. There were 2 entries with 10.
Okay, what do you know? But still, I am gonna say I didn't hear anyone complain, so I'm assuming that was enough. So yeah, basically we had room to enter. You could choose among every species of Pokemon that we have, including unevolved forms. I took the time and entered everything that existed, and I also added, after a while, added any new additions to the game. So like when Mew was added, people asked me to add them, so I added them, and we had a bunch more. And each team member, before I go to each team member, like I said, I added the amount of hours it took to hit 20 main skill procs during that day. The reason behind that was because the entire SkillGate was around the, should I say, speculation at this point, because we don't really have hard confirmation that was the cap, right?
As far as what I understood from all the SkillGate thing, it was they used 20 as like we're going to test around this number because we think there's something happening, but they didn't actually test to figure out exactly how the mechanics worked. So it could have been something gradual. It wasn't necessarily just a hard cutoff at 20. It might have been. We don't know for sure, but really no one knows exactly what the number was, and at this point it's impossible to say because they changed it. We don't know how they changed it, and we'll get to that in the other video, but yeah, they made the changes before we could for sure say exactly how the mechanic worked. We just knew there was some sort of decrease later with a greater number of skill procs.
Yeah, so assuming something was going around the 20 procs per day, we took that and played around that to see if there is any change or effect or whatnot. And like VR said, this might not resulted in any conclusions in this research, but still, we had that option. Now, for each team member, I also added a question, and as you can see, there are a lot of Pokemon in the game. I also added 3 questions, follow-up questions, basically, So when you select the species, I also added the option to add how many estimated procs per day that species is supposed to proc, or not that species, your specific Pokemon. So if you were using a tool like Rain on X, it could tell you how many procs per day it should give you, then the actual procs per day. And if you are a person who likes to swap team members during the day, how many hours per day was that Pokemon on your team? That's basically it, honestly. So that's the whole thing. As you can see, we had in total 173 responses or entries. This is the data we have. We have all sorts of graphs here. Out of curiosity, when you receive the numbers, and you receive the numbers not like this, you receive them through a spreadsheet, but did you happen to look at this form and look at these graphs?
I actually did not look at those graphs at all, but I do know that charts are a good way of looking at things. I made my own charts to show different concepts, but that's interesting. Every chart is interesting.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I mean, the specific team members are not really useful for anything, in my opinion, aside from the curiosity of who was using what the most. But then again, I was adding most of the entries, so this is very skewed to my playstyle. But I don't know if the first two, I don't know if there is any value in these graphs, but regardless, so this is what it looks like if you were ever curious about what a Google form looks like behind the scenes. And just to wrap this up, I'll show you an example of an entry. So you can see here, let's actually go to a later entry to show you with the additional data. Let's go, for example, entry 40. So here, and it's not even mine. Cool. I know because I don't use Sylveon anymore. I use Cresselia, and that's always the first team member on my team. But as you can see, we have the date, we have the total number of procs, how many hours it took, and each team member has their respective numbers. So that's great. Kudos to whoever input that. Thank you very much. That's you did the most. So that's awesome. But with that being said, that's the entire form. But if you were following that, if you knew about this, you already knew all of this. So I'm probably wasting your time at this point. So let's move over to the interesting part, which will take place on Velociraptor's channel.
Thank you.
Let's see the results.
See you all over there.